So we'll start on our back this morning. So as you come into your back, if you have blocks, take your 2 blocks, bend the knees outward, and just place the blocks kind of on the thigh and a little bit on the calf so they're supported and you're not like straining anything. All right. So just gently guide yourself down and allow these blocks to again support your outer legs. And you could place your palms on the inner thighs just for a little bit of added weight. And then I'd like to take the elbows and just kind of lift your chest, keeping your skull down, and slip the shoulder blades down toward the waist. So there's just a little bit more freedom at the neck, and then allow your neck to kind of drop gently, or the chin to drop gently. And then close your eyes, go inside. And let's just start with a little bit of breathing here to allow the body to kind of get into this mode of letting go, relaxing, setting aside any worries of the world, and start to find a place of peace within your mind and your body. So as you take the next 5 or so breaths, start to smooth it out and allow the space in between the rib cage to spread as your lungs fill. So you actually feel your back gently pressing into the earth beneath you. And with each exhale breath, see if you could let go of something, just anything, a little more each time. And turn your palms up and take the backs of your hands kind of at the crease, at the hip crease there, where the leg meets the torso. And on your next inhale, begin to squeeze and contract everything from the feet all the way up to your head, including your face. Squeeze it all in, feel your glutes engage, and hold it for 3. Really tight, you guys. 2. 1 more. And now let everything go on an exhale. Soften. Let's do that again. So I really want you to squeeze and hold the breath in. So tighten up starting at your feet. Keep moving up the legs, the glutes, the hips, the arms, up to the neck and face. Squeeze as tight as you can and hold. 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Let go. Feel your shoulders let go. Feel your hips let go. 1 more of those. Big breath in. Start to tighten up, tighten up. Squeeze it tight. Hold it. 3. Tighter. 2. Tighter. 1. And let it go. And then just take a few more breaths here. You can flip your palms back down on the thighs. And just sort of notice the peacefulness coming over. As though you just ask every molecule inside, every cell of your body to energize itself and then soften and release. Good. 1 more really deep cycle of breath here. Soften your face. Good. And then just really easy is to start to slide the palms to the outer thighs, guiding the knees together, setting your feet down. And if you can reach the blocks, just kind of push them off the mat. And we're going to take your right leg in toward your chest. So you can keep the left knee bent or you can straighten it, whatever is most comfortable. But just give it a little squeeze. And we'll take a little twist here. So I would straighten the leg for this now. Just draw the knee across the body and open up your right arm like a wing, turning your face that way. Just feeling the rotation through the spine. Little opening in the chest. And then coming through center, simply switch your legs out. Holding the left leg in, give it a nice little squeeze, and then we'll take it across, opening up that arm. And focus right on that center spine as it rolls into a twist. Good, and then back to center, and let's take the right leg over the left thigh. So ankle, think the ankle, flex the ankle, draw both legs in. So we're just starting to kind of get sensation in the outer hip. So we're not forcing anything. It's not quite warm. So just take your time with this, maybe a little softer than you normally pull in. And just take a few breaths. Breathing in, remember you can take the thigh, you could take in front of the shin, or if you're super flexible, maybe holding the shin and extending your other leg all the way on the floor. Okay, but again, I would start off a little easy today. Soften the shoulders, neck. Good. And simply switch sides. Other leg on top. Draw the legs in until you feel something going on in your outer left hip. And try to keep the ankle in flexion. See, I've got my socks on this morning. It's a little chilly, even though it's supposed to be very warm today. I'm not feeling it yet in here. Deep breath into that hip. Good. And then releasing that, hands behind your thighs. Lift your chest, lift your shoulders, tuck your chin, and let's just roll up all the way over onto hands and knees. So coming into a tabletop position, let's start with just a few other little things here. So I'm going to have you do your hands nice and wide, index fingers forward, knees under hips. Sink the belly toward the floor. Lift your chest, lift your tailbone. Draw the shoulders back. Nice big breath in. Try to straighten the elbows and then exhale just the opposite, dome the spine into cat pose. Try to pull your belly up a little bit here, stretching the low back. And again, inhale back into the cow position, belly toward the floor. Exhale, lift. Press through your hands, press through your knees. 2 more like that. And just make it as long and easy as you need it to be. So feel free to stay in these poses longer than I am demonstrating. Try to open up your spine. Good. And 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. We're going to take a shoulder stretch. So let's lift the left arm up to the sky. And on the exhale, palm up, just slip the arm all the way underneath and come to rest on the very upper shoulder and the side of your skull. Take the right hand either around your back and try to find the crease in your hip and your thigh. If that's not working for you, you could just keep the hand on the back, but we're trying to get that top shoulder open and into the chest a little bit. Nice deep breath, focusing between your shoulder blades and in the front of the upper arm's chest here. Good. 1 more inhale. And exhale. And then we'll bring that top hand down near the face. Press into your hand to come up. And let's set up for the second side. So setting the left hand down, let's sweep the right arm up. Big breath and exhale, threading the needle underneath all the way through as far as you can go. Maybe a pinch more and then release your head. And let's take the other arm behind the back. Maybe find the crease or just the back of the hand. So sometimes our shoulders are a little bit cranky in the morning, so we just want to kind of take it easy. And affecting that space, those rhomboids and traps between the shoulder blades. Breathe into that area. Okay. 1 more cycle. And then releasing your top hand, bringing it back toward the floor near the face. Pressing yourself up, and then just walk your hands back toward the knees and get a hold of your strap. And let's just do those shoulders a little bit more, and then we're going to roll into much more of the hip region. So finger and thumb on either side, remember, and about shoulder width to begin. And as you rise overhead and start to go behind your head, allow your arms to spread as wide as they need to accommodate your shoulder structures. So back and forth, nice and easy. Working with a nice breath, inhales to rise and exhales to lower. So focusing on keeping your elbows straight and really opening your chest. Nice deep breath in and exhaling back. So you can go a little faster or slower, whatever suits you. Just being mindful, especially in the early morning, right? Because we're not so warmed up. 3 more, I think will do it. Good. Okay, and then bring the arms up when you're done with your last one. And so straight up overhead, widen them out a little bit. And we're going to take the right arm over to the side, flip the thumb down, palm back, and take the arm behind you. Just getting into the front of the shoulder, okay? And then as you come back, just be mindful, flip the thumb down so the palm is moving behind you. And just go back and forth a couple times like that, just to floss a little bit deeper into that shoulder joint. Sometimes feel a little pop in the tendon. It doesn't really hurt, but it's a little odd. So I like to just get a little circulation going on in there. All right. All right, and let's just set that to the side and come back onto your hands and knees. So from your hands and knees, we're just going to step back into a high plank position, okay? Firm the legs, firm your arms, really driving the arms away, lift the kneecaps, and then as slow as you can, start to lift your hips by pushing through the heels and moving your shoulders back far behind the wrists. Let your head drop, and if you feel like your feet are too far away, just walk them in a little closer maybe, and then pedal out. So one knee bends as the other heel drops, back and forth a few times, walking out the dog. Just a little slippery with socks on. I feel like I'm actually walking out the dog. All right, from there, let's lift the right leg up and then tuck it in tight as you shift it forward and set it inside of your right thumb. So as soon as you get here, if the foot's back here, just assist it forward and lower your back knee. Let that foot slip back so you've got a nice opening in your back, in the front of the hip of the back leg. And then bring the hand inside the foot. Toe heel, a little bit wider so you've got more freedom here. So take a moment just to kind of let the hips start to descend and sink, right? And we want to keep the belly firm to support everything. And then again, focus on your breath as we start to open up those hips. If you have your blocks handy, this is a great way to get off the wrists and hands, is just to lean on your blocks. And those that are more flexible, you might want to bring your forearms all the way down to the floor. Okay, so I think we call this lizard pose. I like it. It's a good pose. If you feel that the knee wants to open more and the foot wants to peel, that's another position you can absolutely go into. If you're feeling like it wants to go that way, it will typically tell you. Good, good. All right, and then from there, if you're on a block or your forearms, just come back up onto the hands for a moment. And I want you to walk your hands forward, just as far as you can, okay? And as you're in this position, start to move them off to the right. Okay. If you need a kickstand, let the left hand come back over toward the side so you've got something to lean against. But start to walk your fingers and heel of the hand out. So notice what that does to that outer hip. Keep your belly active, supporting the movement. All right, and then coming back onto both hands here. Keep your left hand down, but open the right arm and create a twist in your belly. Now you can do this on your forearm if this bugs your shoulder or anything, but I kind of like being up a little higher, and let your palm face up as you open your chest. Nice deep breath here. Good. One more inhale, and then exhale, let's return it down. As you come up off of that, let's go ahead and hit the back of our front leg. Walk the foot back in line with the hip. And as you lean the hips back, pull the toes up. Again, keep the belly engaged, but draw that right hip back a little bit so you kind of feel that move right into your hamstring. Okay. I think I'm going to lose this little baby here. Pull the toes back for a little bit more sensation. Good, good, good. Good, and then from there, I'm gonna release this one too. We're gonna take our back toes under, lift the knee, and step the back foot forward about a third of the way. Turn your toes out for pyramid pose. So make sure your front toes point forward and use the mound of the big toe and the big toe pad to kind of press into, keeping your front knee from hyperextension. Waddle your hips a couple times, try to square them up. Maybe you have blocks under your hands here for ease of the folding at the hip crease, right? So you want to lengthen your front line of the belly up to the neck, out, forward, and then fold the body over. Keep driving that front hip back. So always wants to kind of ride up. Let your head drop when you've gone down to your degree here, and just allow that stretch to permeate into the muscle in the back. Huge breathing here. Good. Stay in the pose for another deep breath in. I'm just going to switch sides here for this next move. Okay. And then you're going to start to gaze down towards your foot. Begin to bend the knee and walk your hands around to the front. Okay. Turn your feet so they face forward. All right. Fingertips on the floor. Bend both knees so your hips start to be as low as your shoulder line, okay? So you're going to start getting this into the inner thighs, and we're going to start to straighten one knee and then the other, going side to side like you're a little spider, like a daddy long legs. Now, some people like the toes turned out when they do this. It doesn't really matter, but make sure the knees track the center of your foot as you bend them. Like, don't let the knee cave in or go out. Let it follow the toe line. Back and forth. And as you do, see if you can really get that inner thigh open all the way. So let's do about 3 more to each side here. Again, keeping the belly firmed up. Try not to lift your head. Try to think of you're in a tiny little house and the roof is right on the headline. Good. All right. The next time you're on toward your left leg, we're going to turn to face that direction. Okay, so we're here in that low lunge again. So you're going to lower the back knee, scooch the leg back till you feel it's again a nice distance to start opening the front of the hip, and release your toes. So great time for blocks, just to kind of get used to it, especially if this is a tighter side for you. Okay, but try to get the front foot forward at the knee line. Okay. A nice deep breath, just letting the hips start to descend down, and then we'll bring the left hand inside the foot. So we're on the hands, or perhaps you're resting on your block or all the way down on the floor with your forearm. So you decide how low you feel good about right now. And again, don't have to push it. So it's not like a competition or anything. It's just really paying attention to what your body's speaking to you right now. And now if your front knee wants to kind of bow outward and roll onto the outer side of the foot, let it do that. It might feel nice. Focus on the sensations and visualizing the breath moving into any tight areas and allowing them to let go on those exhales. Always use your exhales. It's the best friend of any stretch. Okay. All right. Last breath here. And then we're going to bring the hands back up to the mat, back down to the mat. Leaning onto your right hand, let's take our twist, opening the left arm, maybe looking back at that hand and allowing the right side hip to sink a little bit more here. And again, you could be doing this down on the forearm, another option that above your arm, your wrist. And then from there, let's go ahead and bring the hand back toward the front. Walk the foot in line with your hip and start to shift backwards, peeling the sole of the foot off the floor, drawing the toes back. Notice where your hips are. If your right side is kind of forward and you feel crooked, just draw back the leg a little bit. Keep your belly firm and try to elongate your spine out over the leg. Nice deep breath here. From here, let's start to bring the foot back to the mat. Curl your back toes under to pick up the knee. And then you're just going to step it forward about a third of the way. Turn the toes out slightly at a walking gait footprint here. Waddle the hips and try to see if you can sense them when they are level to each other and even. It typically is the front hip wants to guide itself outward, so you're going to guide it back in line. And then take a moment to elongate your spine, maybe with the blocks to pull the belly out, the chest forward. Nice inhale, and then pulling in the navel as you lay the body over the front leg, releasing the neck, looking back behind you, feeling your hamstring get a nice gentle tug to start softening and opening. If your back heel is not touching the floor, simply move the foot closer to the front foot and see if you can get it down, okay? So that's all kind of a personal hip structure, muscle makeup decision. Try to release your shoulders, any tension, let it just melt off you. Nice. All right, from here, everybody, start to glance up, just start bending your front knee and step the back foot next to the front. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine away from your legs. Hold this position, put a little bend in the knee if they're not bent, and bring your hands to your waist. So you're in an L position of your torso and legs. Try to pull the elbows straight up to the sky and pull your chest forward. One more breath here. Try not to look up and keep your neck straight. On your exhale this time, you're going to rise up to standing. Whew, in one piece. Good. And then when you're up, I'm going to face you. Inhale both your arms overhead. As you exhale, let's rotate, opening arms in opposite direction and really pull the back arm like you could bring it all the way around to the front again. And then come up back through center, both arms to the sky, reach, lengthen the side waist, and then open to the other direction. And try to really spiral, allowing the hips to even go with you, just not the knees. Let's do that once more. Inhale to come up, reach, lift up on your toes if you can, and then exhale, rotate, drop the heels. And again, in through center, big breath in, lift up onto the toes. Woo. And exhale, rotate other way. And inhale back to center. And exhale, press your arms like you're pushing through water. Feeling that effort all the way up to the shoulders. Good. All right, and then grab a block, and we're going to do the little hip maneuver on the block. So just one block, and I'm going to turn sideways to demo it. I'm going to set my right foot next to the block at a hip width distance, and then the left foot on top. So the toes are on the same line. So the leg on top is bent, you can see, right? So keep the belly firm and just walk yourself over to the floor. The other block, you can rest your hands on any level. Remember, you've got 3 levels to choose from. So once you're down here, you're going to release your head. So the gaze is between the legs, wherever. And then really slowly start to straighten your left knee, the one on the block, until the knee is completely straight. So you're in an asymmetrical hip position, and it feels pretty peculiar. If you've only done this once before, it probably still feels peculiar. But just try to breathe and allow your body to accept the position before we go any further. If your knee is like, no way, it's not going to straighten, well, You can keep a little bend in it, just go to your degree. You can also get a lower platform for the foot to be upon. That way you'll have a better opportunity. So for me, I have this little brick platform. I could move to that. It's a little lower. You know, you could take a textbook, any prop that you have available to you. Now, a couple more breaths here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start to walk the hands to a diagonal off of your right baby toe. And this is going to increase the opening in the left hip that's up on the block. So we're trying not to, lean off of it. Try to stay right on top of your feet with everything of those hips there. Nice deep breath. Try to soften. So if you notice you're gripping anything, especially in an unusual position like this, we tend to make a face or shoulders start to tense. Try to be aware to not let that happen and just kind of get back to that peaceful place you were on the floor. 2 more cycles of breath here. Good. And then walking your hands with your block or just your hands back to center. Real easy. Bend the knee that's on the block. Bend the other knee now. Bring your hands to just above the knees and walk yourself up off of that fold. Okay? Then you'll simply step off the block and move it over. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So remember, the feet are going to be hip width distance. So try to line up your toes with the front of the block edge and then set the other one on top. Keep the knee bent, bend your other knee, and walk yourself over. Keep your belly firm. Release your head and just hang out here. Maybe your hands are already on this other block for support. Plug in the belly, keeping your spine nice and safe. And just let go of the shoulder weight, feel the traction. And then now, really slow, start to unfold the knee on the block, your right side. I like to always point out the 2 sides are usually quite different. One's a lot easier than the other, so you have to go into each of them as though it's the very first time and you're exploring the hip region and what's happening there. So just be okay with that, and we just kind of hang out and breathe. Letting go, knowing this is a good thing, and it's going to feel amazing when we're done. Try to lengthen your inhales and exhales and soften your eyes and face, shoulders. Now, if you want to go to that extra little bit, we're going to walk our hands with our block a little bit to the left. So you're sort of diagonal off the pinky toe there on that other leg, okay? And as you're hanging over, you might even feel this moving up to the side obliques in your waistline. These are such simple things to do, but so effective. So try to remember this one. Do you like it? I call this hip medicine number 8. I've got several of these kind of things for the hip, so I love these. I should call it 7 because it looks more like a 7. No. Good. Couple more breaths here. All right, from here, let's start to make our way back to the center. And once you're back, gently now, you're going to start to bend the leg on top, and then followed by the other knee. Take your time, hands to the thighs, and just guide your spine back up. Once you're up, just step off your block and just kind of kick it off to the side. We're done with those for now. Ooh. Okay, so that feels pretty good. So I want to just do this little testy thing. This is kind of fun to do. We're just going to do a forward fold. Inhale your arms overhead, nice deep breath. And just notice how deep you can go now. Exhale all the way down. Notice if your knees are straight or if they're less bent than they normally would be. Good. Inhale, come up halfway again. And then exhale, place your hands on the floor and step your knees down. So you're back into an all fours position. Curl your toes under, like kind of walk them like you were going to walk with your toes towards your knees, and try to spread the underside of the toes as much as you can. And then walk your hips back to rest on the heels. Now, when you're in this position, the pinky toe often wants to hide under the second, or the fourth toe, I guess it is. So I want you to pull that pinky out, spread them out, so they don't get to cheat. And then if this is excruciating for you right here, lean forward. You could use a block to take some weight off your heels. If it's like, no big deal, take your hands back and give some weight to those feet and stretch the superficial fascia on there, that plantar fascia. Give it a nice moment of love here this morning on Monday the 16th. And you could lift your chest and draw the shoulder blades back if you want a little bit more and stretch your belly. And then focus on your breath. So foot care, so important also. Good. One more inhale, everyone. And then really easy, start to bring yourself back up. And as you come up, hands to the floor, release the toe curl, point them backward, and just pitter patter the tops of your feet a couple times here. Good. From here, I want you to come into a wide-legged V-sit. We'll hit our adductors. Okay, and we're going to get these first in this V-sit, then we're going to do that little froggy position, okay? So try to make your knees and your toes face up so they're not rolling back or forward. Get tall. You can lift up to make sure you're balanced on the sits bones, and then just start to come forward with your hands. You can stop right here with the palms down and just sort of lean. If you've got more room, feel free to keep going out. So when we come into this wide V-sit, you know, typically you want to get something down so you're not, again, straining your hands and wrists. So the blocks always are another tool. Rest on those, okay? But just check in with the legs once you brought your torso forward, that they didn't kind of get sloppy and start rolling off of position, all right? And because we are in another forward bending position, remember to keep your belly a little bit contained there, a little drawing in. Whenever you do this stretch, try to visually see the muscle fibers from the groins all the way to the arch of the inner foot, just kind of pulling, like they could start getting away from you, you know? It sort of helps the visualization with the stretching. I think it's quite effective, and people don't talk about it much, but it's like when you work with your breath, try to move it into the regions. It really does make a difference in the stretching. Okay, so we're going to do a frog version of our inner thighs. So as you're ready, just start to walk your hands up, and we're going to have to take a different position here. Keep a block handy in case you need it. So we're going to take the knees wide, and some of us might need more padding on the inner knee. But if you recall the frog position, I like to take the mat ends and give myself more padding. You're going to turn the toes out like you look like a frog, and the knees are in about 90 degrees and just off of the hip line. So you're creating a 90-degree flexion at your hips, okay? I could turn sideways, I suppose might be a better view for you. Just make sure you're padded, especially if this bugs, right? So you do not want to bug your knees. All right, so just like so, and then you're going to rest on the forearms or on a block, okay? And then the knees, after a few breaths, are going to start to spread out a little bit. So you're going to let them do that, okay? And this one is not anybody's favorite that I'm aware of, but it's, again, very effective, okay? So as you get more flexible in your inner thighs and the groin tendons and ligaments, you'll be all the way on the floor. So I am not the model of all the way on the floor, but just know that maybe someone out there in Zoom land could be. And that's perfectly okay. So we're going to be here for about 10 more seconds is all. So just try to breathe calmly and use your breath to soften So it's, again, it's always those exhales that let you kind of get into it. All right. Okay, to come out, you're going to use your hands and forearms and walk yourself forward, letting the legs come together a little bit, and then roll onto the thigh, letting the feet come off the floor, walk your thighs together, and just let them go. And come into Sphinx pose. I'm going to shift back a little bit here. So our Sphinx pose, with the elbows under the shoulder, the palms flat, and just take a reprieve here and let that settle. So there's a little action in the forearms, pulling back even though they don't move, and lifting the chest. So you're going to feel this gentle compression in your waistline. That's what you want to feel, okay? Try to open the collarbone a little bit. And again, just some nice calm breaths. All right, from there, let's come back up onto our shins. So just gently guide yourself up. And we're going to do the little swastika maneuver here. I hope I don't run out of time. Yeah, so I'm going to try. Okay, so what you're going to do is so the front of your mat, you're going to bring your left leg so that the thigh is the same line as the top of your mat. And the knee is at 90 and the ankle is at 90, okay? So you're gonna be facing the front of your mat with your fingers on the floor. The back leg is gonna be the bottom of this half of the swastika. So your thighs coming off the torso, again, 90 and 90. So you can see it's kind of a half swastika. And then bring your hands to the floor, okay? Try to lengthen your waist and torso so that they're pulling out of the hips, and then begin to walk forward. Now, your left hand is going to start going off to the side, to the left, from your shoulder line, and your chest is going to start to make its way down onto the floor. So we take our time with this because it's pretty strange for one, but it gets pretty deep. And then maybe you can get your forehead to the floor, and after a few breaths, maybe your chest can get to the floor, and you could turn your face to the left or to the right, whatever fits your face. And your right arm is all the way extended in front of the shoulder, palm down. And at some point, your left shoulder might be able to touch the floor as well. So just take some nice deep breaths. You might be noticing your body is releasing after you've been here for a little bit, letting you get further down. A couple more breaths here. Good. And then take your right hand, bring it back near the shoulder. Walk your left hand in, and so you're lifting your chest, and you're going to pull yourself toward the front of the mat, and then come back around. And we'll set up the other direction, okay? So let's make the back of the mat the front of the mat, or you could turn around whichever way, but wherever you're facing the mat. So I'm going off this direction. You want the thigh the same as the line. You want the shin the same as the side and the ankle, so everything's 90, and then move the other thigh back so it comes off the torso, flex the ankle, the knee, 90, 90, and then try to bring that shoulder all the way to the side and begin to walk yourself out. So remember that the left hand is going to start stretching straight up from the thigh, the shoulder, and the other arm is going to go out the other direction. And you're making your way down until maybe you can get your chest on the mat and drop that right shoulder down all the way. And maybe turn the head to the left or to the right, whatever suits you. It doesn't matter. And breathe. Kind of a crazy, twisty I don't know, twisty glute stretch, waist stretch, shoulder stretch. Focus on the breathing and the softening with each exhale. Couple more breaths. All right. Really easy now. Let's start to bring the hands back toward the shoulders on both sides. Face forward and start to pull yourself forward out of it so that the legs are released and then you can come back around. Okay, good. Very nice. And then from here, I was going to do a pigeon, but I think that we'll just do our Baddha Konasana here because we're going to run out of time. So soles of the feet together. Let's clasp around the toes if you can. Walk yourself a little closer to the heels and let your knees drop as to any amount. If this is super uncomfortable or bound up, remember you can always slide your heels away if it allows you more freedom. And you're simply going to fold forward, letting your elbow bending and your hands tugging, draw your chest forward. Try to think of the chin coming inward, keep your neck long, but maybe think of your nose going about 3 feet out in front of your toes. So we strive to keep the space in the spine as long as possible. And there's a little effort, everyone, to draw the shoulders away from your earlobes. So you should feel like the neck has just gotten another inch of height on it. And the more open you can get the knees to the floor, the more you're going to feel this in the connection sites on your outer hips. Nice deep breath. Good. All right. Leading with the back of your skull, just guide your spine back up, guide your knees together, and we'll take a short Shavasana before we chat before the end of class, okay? So let's all come on down to our back. And this little Shavasana is just to allow everything to settle and balance. But while you're laying back and your eyes are gently closed and your shoulders are soft and you can feel the body so happy, it's breathing easy, I just want you to start to think about a muscle that we often forget about, and it's called your gratitude muscle. So this gratitude muscle needs to be strengthened if we're to keep a strong sense of gratitude within us daily, and allowing ourselves to express it is of utmost importance in our lives. So just see if you can start to offer gratitude to all the people in your life, the people that have raised you, the people who have taught you, the friends that have supported you, the family members, whether or not they've been happy times always or not, it doesn't matter. Offer gratitude. And go through the list of even those that have left us already. And be grateful that you were given even a short time with them, that they touched you in some way and you touched them. Offer gratitude to yourself. And you simply do those things by saying, I am grateful for. I am grateful to. And sure, you could think of all the material things in your life, but it's really the relationships that are important. So just let your heart spill with gratitude. Let your eyes fill with tears of gratitude.